And the thing that no one talks about, it's all these unexpected things. So you don't plan in your 20s. Hey, I wonder what my second marriage is going to be like. Hey, I wonder what it's going to be like to be an empty nester. And you sure as hell don't plan on what it's going to be like to care for my older parents in their decline. Why is it that we don't talk about this thing? I mean, it's so common amongst everybody.
It's so common. I think there are a few different reasons why we don't talk about it. I would say that as a culture, we do talk about it a bit more now in our society, the issue of family caregiving and the concept around it. Because I mean, growing up, I always had this image of a caregiver as somebody who is a much older, probably retiree woman caring for real geriatrics, a geriatric parent or maybe an aging spouse. And that's, the model that we were shown. And so exactly, you kind of push it off thinking later, not me. And you're dealing with something that's incredibly difficult. It's the chronic illness or aging or disability of somebody that you love. Not easy stuff to talk about. I think that often we put this idea of chronic illness or disease and vulnerability into
Hmm.
this drawer that we often don't want to look at. Unfortunately, there's nothing shameful about it, but we do sometimes attach that stigma to it. And particularly as a caregiver, you're very attuned to wanting to preserve the dignity of your family member or whomever it is that you're caregiving for. And I think then
Hmm.
when you have amongst the millennial generation or maybe younger Gen Xers, or if you are Gen X and you started caregiving at a younger age. Because in this book,
Hmm.
I also interview caregivers who somewhat have been caregiving their entire lives. It's not necessarily an aging parent, but it's somebody with mental illness or chronic disease. And this spans for decades. So I think also when you're younger and you don't have that model of somebody else who's your age, a peer who's caregiving, then you don't talk about it because you think that nobody will understand. You don't want to be met with a closed door in your face emotionally. And then that silence perpetuates, right? So we don't talk to each other about it. And then in turn, in society, we don't talk about it. And it goes as this kind of hidden phenomenon. And there's no
Hmm.
reason for that.